Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to askNK. So today we have news, and today's news is coming from Epic Games, creators of Unreal Engine and so many other cool stuff. And today has to do with the Unreal Engine 4.25 preview that is presently available, and you can go over to your Epic Games launcher right now and download this and use it. And with every Unreal Engine, release, this one comes with a whole lot of things. And one of the very cool stuff is that right now, the Niagara and the real-time ray tracing are both production ready. And this simply means that you can now use these tools for production. You can do whatever you want to do with them and have fun. And also, other things that you should also try out that has, the latest updates that have been added to them is the Hair and 4, which was actually teased, improved and released with the 4.24. And at the same time, the Unreal Insight Proofing tool and also a general navigation improvement has also been done. So with this said, let's take a look at, a couple of things that has made their way. And for this, we're going to dive directly into the forum where we have a whole lot of things that you guys need to see. So first and foremost, if you're working with Unreal Engine 4.24 and you're having issues importing your files from Cinema 4D using the Datasmith, now this things has been fixed. So just in case you've been having those problems with the Unreal Engine 4.24, you can now simply do these things and have fun doing them. And with the Datasmith in mind, there is also a whole lot of updates which we're going to talk about. But firstly, let us talk about the whole navigation. So the navigation has been improved properly. The animation updates are here as well. So there is a couple of animation updates that you can check out. At the same time, there is also a couple of audio updates that is coming. The core updates are also there. We already talked about the Unreal Insights. So in case you want to see that. Now for the Datasmith update, if you're working with Rhino or Revit, right now it's going to be way easier for you to actually do a couple of things. So things that has to do with the Datasmith Dynamo mode is now improved, as it now contains a new Datasmith Dynamo mode which exports 3D views to Datasmith node. All right, and you can simply work with these things and get some very cool improvements out of this if you're working with Revit. But if you're working with Rhino, there is also a couple of improvements that you should actually come through and check out. And moving on from these, there is also a modeling set of tools that are presently in their experimental state right now. So in case you want to do all of your box modeling and do some UV and do some modifying of your polygroups and stuff, you can actually play and play around with all of these things now and do some adaptive mesh sculpting directly in Unreal Engine, which gives a whole lot of opportunities for people that wants to do all of this insanely cool stuff directly in Unreal Engine. And at the same time, there is also a live USD experimental feature that is right now available, and this does with so many things. And one of the cool things that you can do with this is you can now assign an Unreal material to your USD primitives. So in case you're doing your USD in Blender or in Houdini or in Maya, wherever you're doing this, you can now ship these things over to Unreal Engine as it stands, and you can texture them using the materials directly there in Unreal Engine. There is also a whole lot of talk that your USD stage can now be exposed to both Blueprint and Python, so that you can actually make some couple of scripts and tweak things here and there depending on what you want to do. And these are very cool stuff that is very, very promising for anyone that is working or anyone that wants to get into Unreal Engine. There's also updates to the editor, and at the same time, the gameplay has an update. The mobile section of things also has updates. Networking has a couple of updates as well. And speaking about these things, all right, the Niagara, which we also talked about, also has a few updates that are coming to it. And right now, let's talk about the rendering. So for the rendering, there is actually a huge feature that is coming, and it has to do with the auto exposure improvement. So we already know that the auto exposure improvement in Unreal Engine is pretty cool, right? But the guys at Epic Games have actually looked at this and felt like it's better to improve this thing one more time. And what they're doing is they're taking a step further to make this way more epic. All right, so if you simply go over to this section, because they had to create an entire new blog for this, you would notice that right now the new changes is coming into the Unreal Engine. Auto exposure would now be called adaptation. And this eye adaptation is not only for, Unreal Engine for itself, but this is also going to be part of integrations that we'll be getting for the mobile version as well, as the eye adaptation on mobile is presently in its beta. And if you want to work with this, these are also things that you need to know about. So one of the cool things here is they are trying to improve the workflow and intuitiveness for artists and designers so that they can improve the whole system overall. And these things has to do with how colors are being interpreted, and at the same time how things are being measured in real world versus what you have in Unreal Engine. And there's a whole lot of list about, histograms and nodes and stuff that you would like to come through to check out, and how you can calculate your physical cameras and all that stuff and lights and stuff. You can come here and check these things out. And actually, they do have a comparison, all right, which you can actually, slide left and right to see the masking and see how, the metering of exposure is and what it looks like. Now, there's also something else that you guys need to know about this, which simply has to do with backward compatibility. All right, so for this right now, since there's going to be an upgrade that will be going on from here onwards, there will probably not be anything that has to do with backward compatibility, in the sense that using this auto exposure, which is going to be called the eye adaptation, you may not be able to have a sort of backward compatibility using this with the previous version of Unreal Engine. So for example, if you're working with something like this in a higher version, which is the 4.25, you cannot downgrade this to get some sort of backward compatibility with 4.24. With either the update for 3 or something like that, you would not be able to do all of that stuff. Moving on to more stuff that we have here, there's also a shader model improvement that has been done for things like clear coat, transparency, and so on. There's also a couple of updates for the hair rendering. We already talked about the update that's coming for the hair and fall. There's also updates for the sky atmosphere. There's updates for the material layer. The sequencer is having some love as well, and so on. So this other one is also something that is pretty cool for me, and it has to do with the 3D text improvement that is presently in its beta. All right, so there is also a couple of few stuff that is also coming in for these tools, and it's just really interesting to see how much Epic Games is going all the way out to make sure that this tool, which is the Unreal Engine, is getting up to speed and is getting as much love as it can get. At the same time, we are also seeing that there is an XR update coming to HoloLens 2. There's also updates coming to Magic Leap. So in case you're working with any of these things, you're creating content for any of these devices, it's worth mentioning that all of these updates will be coming soon. So you can actually go through to your launcher, download these, and start experimenting with them, start playing with them. And it's definitely going to make your life a little bit easier. And speaking about things that can make your life easier as well, just recently we did see where Unreal Engine actually released the Quixel Mixer 2020, and that was an amazing release as well. So just in case you haven't seen that video, we have a link in the description that will take you over to the video, so you can do well to check that. And if you're trying to get into texturing and you have no idea what 3D texturing is, probably that video will give you a lead. And also we did talk about a mega grant that was also given out by the guys at Epic Games over to Lubos, creator of the AMOR-PAINT. And AMOR-PAINT is a tool that you can use to do your 3D texturing, and it's insanely easy how you can work with that tool. So you have two options right now in case you want to work with any of the things that has Unreal hands in it, which is the AMOR-PAINT and also the Quixel, Mixer 2020. So in case you want to work with these two, links are going to be in the description so that you can do well to find these things out and also get good with them. And it's just interesting to see how Epic Games is actually pushing, the bounds of technology and, trying to make things like the virtual production stuff come to life. And recently we did see the behind the scene of the Mandalorian that was created by the guys at ILM. And it's so good to see that even in this particular update that they are coming out, which is the Unreal Engine 4.25, that they do have something that has to do with an entire improvement of the end display and so much more. So I would like to know what you guys think about all of this in the comment section. And of course, we've seen a lot of things, and we've covered a couple of videos that has to do with Unreal, and you can also check those ones out as well if you want. And if you're trying to get those things that will be free for this month, we also talked about the free marketplace content that is also available for the month of March. So also do well to check these things out. Yeah. And tell me what you guys think about all of this in the comment section. And of course, if you like this video or you learned something from it, you can go ahead and give it a like, and don't forget to share with a friend. And if you're new here, it's going to be amazing if you can hit the subscribe button and also turn on notifications so that you don't miss the next video or the next update. And until I see you guys again with a tutorial update, Free Friday, Tutorial Tuesday, tips and tricks, things like this. Peace.